Yo, what's goody, fam? If you're one of those people that likes to thumb wrestle, what I mean by that is procrastinate. If you're one of those people who keeps saying tomorrow or when I get X, Y, or Z, or I wish I could just meet, or I wish so and so would just help me. Let me explain something to you. Every moment that you're alive is a blessing. It's a blessing. It's not it's not mandatory. Tomorrow's not promise. And so if I can impart anything on you, it's to get started. I don't know what you're waiting for. I don't know whose permission, whose validation, whose cosign you waiting on, but I can assure you, you don't want to be somebody who's elderly. You don't want to be someone who gets sick and then has to live with the regret of not being able to see your dreams come to fruition. You don't have time. Time is precious. Time is a luxury. Time is the most important resource that you have, period, bar none. And I feel like personally, to be human is to take that for granted. And so all of us can do a better job of maximizing our 24 hours in some way, shape, or form. Now, personally, I don't believe in balance. And so just off the strength, things are things are going to be unbalanced, right? You're going to focus on something at a given point and be neglecting or ignoring other things at a given point, right? You can't let those sacrifices go in vain. You can't let that opportunity cost be for naught, right? There's something that is on your spirit. There's something that you've been dying to do, and you've been putting it off for any number of reasons. But I'm making this video. I'm talking to you, wherever you at, watching this. All the people in YouTube land, all my people, just do it. Just do it. Start before you know how. Do it scared, do it ugly, do it alone, do it broke, do it tired, do it stupid, do it ignorant. Whatever. Just get started, get going. You do not have to know anything. You don't have to have anything figured out. The only thing that you need to know is how to get started. And once you get started, the next step will be revealed to you. You don't have to have the whole process laid out. It's not necessary. And if you feel that way, then it's something that you should work through, because if your desire to wait for the right conditions or to have all the information is what you need to get started, you're going to get left behind. You're not about to get nothing done. And I don't know if anybody has made you aware, but life don't stop for nobody. The world going to keep whirling, people going to keep peopling, and time flies. Personally, I'm watching people, beautiful people who are full of life, get sick. I'm watching people full of life, die, have their lives cut short for whatever reason. I'm watching people come and have their second chance, their second opportunity at life after being counted out or having made a mistake of some sort. And I stress to people, you do not have time. All that pump faking, all of that being scary, all of that, getting caught up in facades and all that, that's for the birds. Like, I think I remember watching, if I'm not mistaken, I remember watching interview with 50, and he said something along the lines of, I don't have time to be depressed. He was like, depression is a luxury. Like, if you have time to be depressed, that means you're not working, you're not in action, you're not locked in, and you're not focused. And at first, I felt like that was something very insensitive to say. That was something that, that was rather ignorant to say. But the more that I think about it, the more that I realize that there's truth there. Because think about it, if you feel regret, you living in the past. If you feel worry or you feel anxious, you're living in the future. When you are present, when you're locked into the now, there is no room for you to be afraid of anything. There's no room for you to get anxious or any of that. When you are present and you are only in this moment right now, there's peace, there's focus, there's flow, there's creativity. Is when you start to move away from the present moment that you start getting in trouble. So if you think, in my situation, right? I'm just gonna be personal. Like, I have a bit of a temper. And so a lot of times I'm doing work to keep myself grounded and to work through and process what might be getting me frustrated. But I be checking myself, because my thing is, if you got time to be angry, you got time to do something. If you got time to be sad, you got time to do something. If you got time to be anxious and worried, you got time to do something productive with the energy, with the time. To be human is to really take this life for granted, man. And it isn't until you're stripped of your ability to do things that you start to appreciate it. But by then it's too late. You can't do anything. They say that you only really appreciate something until you lose it. And that's unfortunate. And if you're watching this, you don't have to wait for something to happen to you. You can live off the wisdom of vicarious experience. You can live off the wisdom of others who are trying to impart, information. Just, listen, there's only this moment. The next hour is not promised to you. Tomorrow is not promised. The next 2 hours. I mean, that goes for any and everything. If there's a relationship that you need to repair, you don't have to figure out what to say. You don't got to figure out what to do. Pick up the phone and let the person know that you love them. Go hug them. If there's a job, apply. If there's a job, go, pull up to the office. Go have a conversation. If it's somebody that you had your eye on, go shoot your shot. Stop worrying about shit that don't matter. Stop worrying about weird, goofy shit. What somebody gonna think if it doesn't happen? What somebody's opinion of you? No, it doesn't matter. And to be quite honest, they don't really care. You in your mind think they care a lot more than they care. They really don't. But you have to be with you every day. You gotta be in your skin every day, every minute of the day. And you gotta live with that burning feeling, that itch on your spirit, because you letting the sand run through your fingers. You know what I'm saying? You letting your dream pass you by. It's part of the reason why I love the book, The Alchemist, right? You're always reminded of your personal legend. Every one of us has one. What you gonna do? You don't know how much time you have left. You don't have time. You don't know how long your mother has, how long your children have, how long your husband, your wife, your grandmother, your friend. You don't know how much time people have. Stop acting like you got it all together and you could just cruise and shoot the breeze. That's a very arrogant thing to do. Like, again, humans, we take this life for granted, but when you have those moments, those wake-up calls, man, you better hold on to that feeling and sensation as long as possible. Let that humble you, because opportunities don't always last. The opportunity has a life cycle, and you don't know how long that is. Once that door closes, that opportunity has expired. Same thing with life. You don't have to have money. You don't have to have relationships. You don't have to have know-how. If you're watching this, you have everything that you need right now to get you started, and that's all you need to do. Get started. You don't have to have the whole pathway figured out. You don't have to see everything to have it all figured out. You don't have to see everything to get started. I'm telling you, just take that first step. I'm not even telling you jump out the window. I ain't telling you nothing crazy. Take a leap of faith. I ain't telling you do nothing like that. If you are more cautious, here's how I think about it. Those of us who are more bold, who are more, audacious, jump out the window. Bet on yourself, jump out the window, build your parachute, build the plane on the way down, all that. If that's not you, then you don't need to take a leap of faith. What you need to do is build a bridge for yourself between where you are and where you want to be. You don't got to do nothing crazy. Your path might be a little different, but that's okay. You're going to get there nonetheless. But every moment of every day, in some way, you should be operating with purpose. You should be living in committed action towards that thing that you're called to do. Everybody has a gift that is the key that unlocks their purpose. You operate in that and you good. If you feeling burnt out, you feeling, tired, depressed, whatever, you're not in purpose and you're not focused. You have to be present. And once you're present, good things happen. And the beauty of it is, right, is just being curious and just wanting to be present in your journey, in the process. That's where you start to notice all the beautiful things. That's where you learn the lessons. That's where you create the memories. And eventually, you have these milestone moments. Eventually, you arrive at a destination, and then you have a great story to tell. But a story without details, a story without, heartache and pain or triumph, a story without something to overcome ain't much of a story. That's just me. I don't know. And again, I'm human just like you. I'm not telling you some holier than thou. I've quite often just gotten started. I've very much, not built out the blueprint. I very much just built a mansion with a rock and a stick, just getting started with what I had. That's something that I'm very, very comfortable doing. Now, there's sometimes I get distracted, so I got to get myself back on path. But what I'm saying is I'm not afraid to just get busy. What I'm doing right now, I can't tell you, listen, real story. Like, I have a couple of friends. Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to Jose. They literally make fun of me. They like, yo, bro, you got a B&H in your crib. Like, you got all of this equipment, all these cameras, all this everything, and like, you could be making crazy content, but what's going on? And I'm like, yeah, I got it. I got to figure out how to use it. I'm pump faking. I'm finding really valid excuses, but ultimately things that are not forward to me. They're like, yo, like you got equipment, you got lenses, you got lights, you got all sorts of stuff. Why you not? You got access to studios. People want to record for you, but like for me, I want to be able to record on my time. I want to be able to create when I feel like I want to create in a way that might not call for all of that extra stuff. And I realized that there was a learning curve between where I am and me using all this equipment that I got. I realized that I don't really necessarily have the patience, to be quite frank. It's not even the knowledge or the prowess. It's just my patience ain't there. So what would allow me to be able to create consistently in a way that feels authentic and lets me just connect with y'all, because that's what's most important, me being able to connect with you, build community, build rapport. So I found something that allows me to do that. And here I am creating. And I'm posting almost every day. It don't gotta be pretty. I know it's not the prettiest. I know it's not the most exciting. I'm okay with that. Sometimes you gotta take the stairs. And sometimes you gotta keep it simple to make it significant. And that's all I'm doing. I want to create a direct connection with you. I want it to be authentic. I want it to be genuine. I want it to be relatable. I don't need bells and whistles for that. You either resonate and connect with me and what I'm saying, or you don't. And that's cool too. I understand I'm an acquired taste, right? Like everybody not gonna rock with me, and that's the beauty of this planet and all these people and all these, brilliant minds and beautiful souls. You're gonna align and connect with who you do, and I'm perfectly fine with the people that are for me. And so I had to stop getting out of my way and figuring out ways not to, or focusing on reasons why I couldn't, and focus on the path that would allow me to create a video like this and connect with you. And that's what I'm committed to doing, and that's what I'm doing now, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. Even if my videos is just like this, I don't intend for them to be, but I'm not going to allow me to get in the way of having these important conversations with you, sharing ideas, building community. Like, I'm not going to allow that to happen. I've done it for too long. And it just, eventually, the discomfort of not doing what you know you want to do or what you're supposed to do or being fully expressed or operating at your highest will disrupt your spirit until you do something. And I'm doing something. And for those of y'all who tuned in, who show up consistently, I appreciate you. Truly. It ain't gonna always be like this. You know, my skills might develop, who knows? Or I might develop skills and still be like, listen, I want to keep the videos just raw and just whatever. But I mean, like, again, I'll figure that out. It is what it is. But my point is, I just got to it. I got to it. I got up off my ass. I got to it. I made it happen. I stopped looking at the evidence, or I stopped finding or focusing on reasons why I couldn't or the barriers. And I leaned into what I could do with what I had to get the job done. Again, just do it. Do it scared. Do it ugly. Do it alone. Do it tired. Do it broke. Do it sick. Whatever you need to do to make it happen, find a way to execute and get results.